Welcome to Tailgate Topics and Tips. I'm Spencer McDonald. You know, you hear it on the radio every time we get poor weather. There's accidents all over the place. And everybody's blaming the weather, but the truth is, weather doesn't cause accidents. It's the actions of drivers that fail to adjust to the weather that are the real cause of all those accidents when the weather gets poor. So there's many different types of adverse weather conditions that we have to adjust for. That's the topic of this episode of Tailgate Topics and Tips. Snow is one of the most common adverse conditions that many of us have to drive in, particularly in northern climates. Snow causes challenges for drivers to maintain traction, to get going, and to get stopped for acceleration and deceleration and stopping, as well as steering. And that challenge gets greater and greater as the depth of snow increases. Add wind to snow, and you can end up with blowing snow that can severely reduce your visibility. Similar to snow, ice can cause real problems for drivers and loss of traction. Watch for black ice in areas where you may go from sunlight to shadow and the temperature is right around freezing. Black ice is a real hazard you should watch out for. Heavy rain can also cause major problems for drivers with visibility, but also with hydroplaning. Hydroplaning is when the tires of your vehicle begin to actually float on a cushion of water if the rain is heavy enough to build up on the roadway. This causes a loss of steering and loss of traction to stop. So hydroplaning is a major problem in heavy rain, as well as visibility. High winds and wind gusts can also cause problems for drivers. Larger vehicles or lighter vehicles can be blown around severely. It's not unusual to hear of vehicles blown from one lane to another in strong crosswinds. In areas where there could be high winds and dry conditions, blowing dust or sand can also cause severe problems with visibility, and even with traction if enough accumulates on the road. So poor conditions don't cause accidents. Accidents or incidents are caused by drivers failing to adjust to the poor conditions that they encounter. What's the major mistake that drivers make when encountering poor conditions? That's easy. It's speed. The major cause of problems with driving in poor conditions is carrying too much speed in those conditions and not allowing yourself enough time to see what problems are and enough time to react to the problem and still maintain traction with the roadway. You see, as speed increases, you need greater distances to get slowed and to stop, and so you need to be able to see for further distances. If conditions restrict your ability to see, you should be driving at a slower pace. Also, as your speed increases, the amount of energy that you create with your vehicle increases, and so you need more traction to get slowed or to turn the vehicle. That means that if the roads are slippery, it becomes much more difficult to get stopped before hitting something. So under poor conditions, the best defense is to slow down. When you're driving under any condition, you should regularly assess your speed and determine whether that speed is safe and appropriate for the conditions that you're driving in, whether those conditions are weather conditions or road conditions, traffic conditions, or your vehicle condition, or even your condition. The speed you drive needs to match the conditions that you're driving under. If you have to drive in poor conditions, some things you can do are call ahead and let people know that you might be coming in a little bit late. Make an advanced decision to take more time. When you're driving on a multi-lane highway under poor conditions, choose the right lane. Drive a little slower with that traffic rather than taking the left lane and going fast with all those guys that are in a big hurry. Those are the guys that are going to have the problems. When driving in poor conditions, make sure that all of the lights in your vehicle are clean and working so that you have good visibility and you can see and be seen by other drivers. So for this week, your practical challenge is to assess the conditions around you as you drive and think. Think about whether or not the speed you're driving is appropriate for the conditions that you're experiencing. If you find yourself driving too quickly in poor conditions, slow down. Ask yourself from time to time whether the speed you're driving is appropriate for the conditions that you're driving in. And if not, make an adjustment. That's the way you'll ensure that you get home safe. Well, that's it for this episode of Tailgate Topics and Tips. I'm Spencer McDonald reminding you, it's all about attitude.